Well, we're just getting at the ice shack here now. Here's my tin and my plywood and some of my 2x4s there for the walls and flooring. Here's all my studs for the framing. And there's my floor, 8 feet by 14 foot. I'm reusing my tow bars. I think they'll be fine. And I'm using up some of my brackets I'm going to reuse there. So I just got squared up and got this one side framed up. I just got to screw the other side in there and then we'll start sheeting the floor. Well, we almost got the floor sheeted there. And the apprentice is just finishing it off there. And tomorrow I'll rip a sheet here, finish this side, and then start framing walls. I got skids are 2x10s with a 1/2 inch puckboard on there. They're 16-foot skids. So I got a 14-foot deck on here, so I just got a foot in front and back for tow bar. I got the floor finished. I'm just starting to sheet the back wall here. And I just realized something now, but when I sheeted this floor, I laid them all one way. I probably should have staggered them maybe, but I'm going 3/4 inch thick, so it's pretty darn solid, I think. If you're a carpenter, let me know what you think. But I ain't going back now, but be a good learning curve anyway. So we're gonna carry on. I got my walls cut here. We're gonna start framing. These are all framing studs. They all should be the right length. I'm going 24 on centers for the walls. Try to cut down on some weight. I went 16s on the floor, so they should be plenty sturdy. Yeah, 16-inch on center plus 3/4 inch plywood. So you'll be able to drive a pickup in there if you want to. I'm no carpenter either, so feel free to pick away. I haven't decided how high I'm going to go for my front wall yet. I'm going to do a sloped roof like I did in my last shack. But just not too sure how much pitch I want to have. 10 foot or 9 foot and then slope to an 8, or I don't know. But let's screw all these studs in here. I already marked my 24 on centers on my top and bottom plate, so I'll screw that down. This thing's totally screwed together too, so it ain't gonna fall apart. Thought we'll get an air nailer or a Milwaukee framing nailer, but I don't know. I just like how screws hold stuff together better. Be definitely a lot faster. Would have been done this wall already. Good thing I got about 2 months, month and a half before I have to take it out on the ice. Thing's gonna be lit. One side done. Look at that. Extra boards. Well, that's one framed wall. We'll sheet it and stand it up. Man, that didn't take that long at all. I can imagine an experienced carpenter probably would have had 2 walls built by now. Before I get too carried away, let's see how square this thing is. $93.25, perfect. The wall's all squared up, better than the floor was anyway. So I almost got the one wall sheeted here. Just got to rip a strip and a 2-foot strip for the end over there, and then we'll be able to stand this wall up. Cut this without cutting the other sheets underneath it. Good old Milwaukee. Oh, I can see that end isn't very straight. Gee whiz. I got my back post set up. It's gonna be my catcher. Let's see how heavy this is. Shit, it actually worked. That's not going to do nothing though. Stay steady. Perfect. Put a few more down that bottom plate. Well, that's where I left off. I ended up going with a 9-foot front wall. I'll have a 1-foot slope over 8 feet. Got my windows framed. I just got to put a chunk of plywood up there over the door, or maybe add a window. I'm not sure yet, but it doesn't look as big now when you get the walls up. So 2 more walls and the roof. Well, it's day 3 on the shack build. I'm just framing up the side walls now. I got my windows and stuff framed in. The door, I got to put another header board up there, and then sheet in the top or put a window there. I think I'll just sheet it in, but I got to frame this side, and the one I'm standing at now, I got to frame a window in here. So slowly getting at it. Getting low on 2x4s here. I guess once I stand this up, I can salvage these 2 here and use them for the other side. I'm gonna try to frame this in now. Got 32 1/8 for my length. I'm going to have the window across this way. And then, because these front doors, I got them up and down. This one I'm going to do sideways this time. I need opening of 14 1/4 and 32 1/8 long. So I think I'm going to go about 5 feet from the floor, so you can actually see out of them without hunching over all the time. So inside 38 3/8. Be right back. Subby bottom plate, eh? Cut another one for the top. Okay, 14 1/4 opening. Actually, I better screw those in first, or else my numbers are going to be out. Something's going to move. Okay, 14 1/4 inside. Yeah, I see I'm already off. I'm gonna grab that window and do a test fit. Right there. Okay. I just need to make some verticals in there for the length. That was 32 and 1/8. So I cut my supports for inside the window. Oh yeah, a little tight. Well, measure once, cut twice. It's not the motto. Cut on the outside of my line. Oh, that's better. Okay. Oh, you dirty bugger. So this thing is totally screwed together, the shack. I haven't never used one single nail. I use lag bolts for my runners to bolt my mounting plates to my floor to mount to. And the rest is screws. There. Now I'll put some uppers in here for some bottom support. And maybe a top one too. $57, 18 and a half. Coming right up. Well, we're ready to stand this one up. That one, this wall's got to come in. Worry about that after. Once I get this floor down. Should actually use 3" for these. Feels good to build something yourself, even though it's not to code and to a lot of people's standards, but there. Okay, put a few more in the bottom plate. There. Now I can release that, bring that wall in. Oh yeah, it almost wants to come home. So the reason why I didn't sheet this wall before I stood it up is because I want to go overlap the outside wall to the corners. Seal it right off. I actually never thought of that till after I seen what I did. I don't know if there's any other way to do it, so that's where we're at. Anyway, see how this window fits if I squeezed and pinched anything. There we go. Nice start. Just remember, you contractors out there, this is only an ice shack. Nobody's living in here. All right, next wall, last wall. Okay, start framing the second one, same as the last one. Rookie mistake. Couldn't imagine how fast this would go for an actual experienced carpenter with air tools or an air nailer. I just like screws. I find they hold together better, especially if you're like, this thing only goes from the bush onto the ice. It goes like maybe 150 yards at a time, and it never moves once it's on the ice usually, unless it gets flooded really bad. Then I'll move it, but other than that, I usually just keep jacking it up. Never put her on a hole there where there's no fish. I don't think that's possible in Wekusko Lake anyway. Lots of stuff to do yet though, even once we get the walls on and the roof up. I gotta make a trip out of town. I'm gonna buy all the carbon, whatever the hell it was, carbon fiber insulation I had last time. Worked pretty good. I'm gonna spray foam the roof this time, the tin, just to prevent any moisture and frost buildup. I noticed it a couple times when it was like minus 30 and I was out there, and you light up the wood stove there and you get some frost buildup with the snow on the top. Just that temperature difference there. You get a little bit of frost, and then once the heat's up in there, you get drips of water coming down. It wasn't bad, but $400 froth kit from Canadian Tire will fix that pretty quick. Never have to worry about it again. That whole idea, this is try to make it as light as you can so you can pull it with a snowmobile. But I don't know, this extra 4 feet, she was pushing the limits of the expedition there, the last one I had. I guess once you got it moving, it was okay. Just getting it to break free. My buddy Victor's got a idea for his shack. I can't wait to see what he comes up with there. Sounds like it's going to be his is going to be even bigger than this, I think, by the sounds of it. He's going with a different material too for building, so it's going to be interesting to see what he comes up with. Very crafty guy, that man. Frame up. Now I just gotta frame in the window again. Same old shit as the last one. Well, this wall's all done there as well. Stand her up. I used a level. 3-inch in the floor plate. I haven't quite used 10 pounds of screws yet, but I ain't done yet either. There. Throw some plywood on those walls. And then we'll get tricky. I'm gonna put another header board over this door too. I still haven't test fit that. I gotta cut out the door notch on the bottom here, the frame. That'll be the next set of days off, or if I get up early enough in the afternoon, I feel ambitious. We're off to a good start. Well, I couldn't stop there. I had to finish sheeting it up, so I just got to cut the holes out for the window. But both sides were sheeted all the way around now. Just gotta cut out the window and then work on the roof. Once the roof's on, then we can start the interior decorating. Don't mind the noise, but we're on day 3 of our no power due to the heavy snowfall we had. I'm working on the ice shack again today. I just got to sheet this corner top gable end in, and I need to wait for the hardware store to open up so I can get a few 2x4s so I can finish off the front gable and side here, and I can start putting my tin on. I already got this side sheeted this morning. It's a little hard with that. Got my big Lincoln welder generator running here, powering up the house here for the 2 fridges and 3 freezers. Install the windows. The wife and the son are harvesting the potatoes from underneath the snow. Doing pretty good so far. And we got 2 rows of carrots here we dug out. back on here shortly. Get that racket off. Utilize this short wood. See if the door fits. Well, I got the door fit in there. Had to do a little bit of MacGyving. It was a little bit tight on my frame here, so I just took it back about 2.5 inches. So I have a stopper now too as well for my door. Just need to notch out my door plate here for my latch. This actually was a door off my house. I changed out a couple of years ago. And I just, it's actually supposed to open inside, so I just flipped the hinges on it, made it work. So I gotta put another header board up there, and I got a 2x10 or 2x12 to stick in there, and I'm gonna mount a TV, I think, up in there. That'll be later on, but all the windows are in, doors are in. I just need some 2x4s from the hardware store. Our power just came back on, so the store should be open tomorrow. I'll be able to finish the tin roof tomorrow, and it'll be sealed in. Then siding.